Hello, magical people. Welcome back to Beyond Crystals on the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. My name's Meg Moonbeam, and I'm here with my soul sister, Sunny from Pluto. How's it going, Sunny?
Hi, good. How are you?
Yeah, your hair is looking good. You're looking all nice on this new moon in Cancer.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a new moon in Cancer, and we're talking about the water signs, which are my favorite. Yay! And this is my favorite season, other than Scorpio season. Sorry, I'm biased.
Yeah, so today we're in our week 4 of this new weekly show, and we're talking about crystals for the water signs. So this month of June, we've been going through every week crystals that we recommend for each of the elemental groups. And we are Scorpios, we are water signs. Last but not least is the water signs. So welcome everybody. Let us know if we've got any water signs, sun, moon, and risings in the chat today. And thank you all so much for joining us. Before we get into the show's contents, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube, Rumble, and X channels. If you'd like to have a personal astrology reading, you can go check that out at consultations.beyondmystic.net. If you'd like to check out the Scorpling Shop, our Christie Astrology Boutique, you can go check that out at thescorplingshop.com. And also, Selvia has a new Shamanic Breathwork Part 2 over at the Beyond Mystic Academy. You can use that discount code BREATH10 to currently get 10% off on the Academy. This is exciting. Okay, first of all, Sunny, we're both water signs. We're both very intuitive and sensitive and empathic. How are you feeling? Oh, we got lots of Scorpios in the chat. Okay, hello, our fellow Scorpios in the chat. How are you feeling with the current energies at this time?
I never know how to answer that question because there's always so much going on. There's a lot going on. I'm very far removed kind of from like what's going on in the outside world, which I actually am feeling good about because there's a lot going on in my own life. So I've been really just, surrendering to my life and what I can control and what I can do and what I can create, and not really worrying about what's outside of my control and what's outside of my life. And everything is just kind of like a movie. So I'm just like watching it. I'm not even forming opinions on anything anymore. I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. That's nice. So that's how I feel about the outside. But yeah, right now, I feel good. I feel happy. I feel like there's a lot of just new, fresh energy coming in. So it's like, I think there's a lot of things happening. Maybe for everybody, you can let me know too what's going on or how you feel. But I feel like in this moment, it could be for the collective. I'm being prepared for the new energy that's coming. So that's why things are just like really busy and moving and kind of up in the air. There's no like concrete answers, but there is my passion is ignited. So I still have like a way forward in a direction, but everything else is just like, woo, let's see what we can do. Like new possibilities.
I love that. And I love that you're bringing up the crazy, very powerful new energies that are coming in at this time. You know, because you're an astrologer like me, that we're in our last week of Uranus and Taurus, and starting on July 7th, Uranus and Gemini, all the outermost planets in new fire and air signs. This is a very fresh new energy, among other astrological things. So yeah, very exciting. And are there any crystals that you're currently personally working with to help you integrate some of those newer energies?
Well, I always got aquamarine with me. Well, right now I'm holding an aquamarine right now. And I'm holding a kyanite. I'm holding aquamarine and kyanite today because I always find it hard to like get my words out properly. So this is my intention for right now, is to communicate as clearly as possible. But currently, I mean, just pretty much aquamarine is like my go-to.
Yeah.
I've kind of been playing around with the spirit quartz a bit too, which is our crystal prescription for Scorpio this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Nothing too different and weird for me. Just aquamarine and spirit quartz. Very, very watery, very Scorpio, very Cancer, very Pisces vibes. What
Yeah.
about you?
Love it. Yeah, it's interesting. I've been, Sunny and I have been getting ready for a retreat that we're going to this weekend that Jens and I are hosting in Algonquin Park for the summer solstice. And I've been packing, and I'm in one of those modes where I'm really feeling like I want to have a lot of the Christies in my purse. I go on and off through that, where sometimes I'll have just like 1 or 2 Christies in my purse. And right now I'm like, I got all the pouches jam packed with a Brandenburg, with all my jujus I want to have on me at all times for some reason. So they're like all in my purse. So yeah, I'm feeling, yeah, really drawn to working with a lot at the same time, which hasn't been very usual for me lately, but I guess it has to do with they're helping me possibly integrate these energies as you brought up. So
sorry, I also just remember too, I've been wearing, this is the first day I haven't worn a pearl in like a week, but I've been wearing gold and a pearl every day, which is June birthstone and very Cancer, very watery too. So it's like the watery, intuitive crystals and specimens are calling out to me.
I love that. Awesome. I'm wearing the Damberite juju that you made me.
Yeah. I haven't been wearing juju that much lately, actually. I've been wearing just gold, yeah, and pearls.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been drawn to that one today. So yeah, we have to say before we get into the best crystals for the water signs that we are filming this on Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, which is the most positive, lucky, auspicious new moon of the natural astrological year. Today is a new moon in Cancer at a Cancer degree, 4 degrees, conjunct Jupiter, exalted in Cancer with really cool aspects. So is there anything that you're doing, Sunny, to work with the energy of today's new moon? Anything that you feel like sharing about it?
Well, I had lunch with my dad and my brother, who are both water signs, for my dad's birthday. So, the whole Cancer, everything, a lot of opportunities coming up for me to perform music of my heritage, my Sicilian heritage. And I have like a 4th house stellium too, so it's not that weird, but it's just funny how a lot of these things are coming up during this time when everything is like activated in the in Cancer right now. So Jupiter in Cancer. So I think just like family stuff and just, I don't know, doing this show with you, being with the crystals, just looking forward. I've been praying a lot too, actually. It's not something that I do like intentionally, like before bed or like when I wake up, but sometimes in the middle of the day or when I'm doing something, I'll like remember, oh, I should pray. And I pray. I've been praying out loud in my car, and as I'm praying or like right after I'm finished praying, like I just see all these signs. Like, for example, yesterday I was literally, as soon as I was finished praying, I was literally surrounded by 888, which is my favorite number. A car in front of me, a car here, and a car behind me. I saw them all in the mirror, and I'm like, okay, that's like crazy. Like I've been seeing 888 so much lately. Just again, that's the number of like infinite possibilities and creation and success, and that's my favorite number. So it's nice to when you really connect to God or whatever you want to call it, the God source, and you pour out your heart and you actually have gratitude for like everything, for all the little things too, and of all the people in your life, and you take the time to show that. It's nice like how fast God actually delivers. And I feel like too, probably we'll be seeing it more, especially because Jupiter is in a water sign of Cancer that has to do with family and connection and intuition and emotions and stuff.
I love that. Very well said. Sorry, guys, we're seeing in the comments a poet in his posy says, Rumble isn't on. Okay, we just had something technically weird. So Rumble is now attached to the live stream. So welcome everybody from the Beyond Mystic Rumble. We're also on YouTube and X. Yeah, I love what you just said there about, there's a lot more expansion that's coming in with this transit, and we can really feel it with this new moon. We've got Carol in the chat. Hello, Carol. Very nice to see you. She says, good evening, ladies. Well said, Sunny. So I'm excited. Yeah, let's get into talking about the water signs. So for some of you, you might not know, what the heck are the water signs all about in astrology? So water is a feminine astrological element along with the earth element. Water signs rule our emotions, intuition, sensitivity. Okay, they're the most sensitive signs in astrology. Nurturing energies. Water also rules the need for relaxation and blissfulness. The heavens, the higher vibrations. This is the water signs. Because if you think about it, Pisces, the 3rd water sign, is the spirit world. It's the last sign in the zodiac, and it literally rules heaven, the spiritual planes. So all the other elemental signs, they can also be bliss in their own ways, but the real higher bliss of like heaven and oneness, it comes from the water element. Water signs also rule being empathic, intimacy, sexuality, as you said before we went live, signs are very live. And it's water, right? So it's malleable and it's about merging. Also creativity, healing, and they tend to be calming. Now, Scorpio is a little bit different. Scorpio is unique in the water signs because it's ruled by Mars, its traditional ruler, and Pluto, its modern day ruler. So Scorpio, and I'd like to get your take on this, Sunny. To me, Scorpio is almost like steam of the water signs. It's not typical water. It's fire and water put together because it's Mars and it's Pluto. So when we say calming, Scorpio, we don't necessarily usually associate with calming, but Cancer and Pisces we can associate with calming. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? What do you think?
Well, I think all the water signs can be calming in their own way, but also the water signs are very emotional and watery, and water ebbs and flows. So sometimes you can be around a Cancer and they could be not calming, or a Pisces and they can be not calming, and a Scorpio Scorpios are very powerful. They have a strong effect on everybody around them. So if a Scorpio is like kind of freaking out, you might have other people freaking out. But a Scorpio, I also feel has the ability to heal like very deeply. So, and they're very psychological, like very wise psychologically. So I think that they do have the ability to be calming or to help someone calm down. And I've noticed too, this just might be life, but when somebody's like in a crisis, that's what I feel actually calm. And it's like I can actually help people through that crisis. But if everything's normal, it's like, okay, yeah, that's where I kind of do the self-sabotaging and create my own chaos, because I'm like, why everything is too normal and safe here. Let's just stir it up a little bit. I'm bored. So I think it can go both ways. It just depends on like where I think we're at like internally in the moment. But yeah, Scorpios aren't really like calm, right? But I feel like they have the ability to help calm other people down because we understand like just emotional turmoil, because that's just part of our being. So we can help walk others through it. So I think that's where we can become more calming. If that makes sense.
I think that's very well said, and I totally agree with you. And, Scorpio is the sign that rules extremes and intensity. So for some people that, have done work on themselves or are open to the spiritual of the woo, totally, like you said, Scorpio can actually be quite a comfort or calming. But then in the reverse, if people are really in their shadow side, they haven't done any work on themselves, Scorpio can be very triggering and intimidating and very uncomfortable to be around. So it depends on who we're around, I guess.
That's true too. And like, even, not every Scorpio is going to be awake or have done, their self-healing work too. And there's a lot, like the shadow side of Scorpio is like very, very challenging. And Scorpios can be very, very, very toxic and like not mentally stable or not emotionally stable people either. So when the Scorpio isn't like self-realized, that's really dangerous, because they're not even aware of how powerful they are, or like they're not aware of their own power. And it's like a scorpion running around like literally poisoning everyone. It's not good. And it's especially not good for themselves too. That's the worst. That's the hard part about being a Scorpio. Oh my God, we can go down a rabbit hole with that. But it's like, yeah, we're walking around with poison, and we can, let that stinger out and sting. And it might be like in the moment, it might feel like it's like an instant gratification thing. But I feel like the person that you hurt most as a Scorpio when you poison someone is yourself, because you're letting that, whatever that power, poison holds, you're like letting that go. You're giving it to someone else. And I feel like it's always said like Scorpios can like literally like ruin your life if they want to, which is true, just by like saying the one truth that we're withholding. It can really mentally like screw people up. And
you up.
And we are tough enough, strong enough. You can hurt us, you can beat us down, you can betray us, and still we will withhold that one thing just to protect you. But also I feel like it protects our spirit and our well-being too, because in reality, Scorpio really just wants to find the truth and to rise above like I don't know, like the mundane, like the stuff that really doesn't matter. We want to get to like the higher source of everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Very well said, Sunny. You always speak very eloquently. I know sometimes you're
Really?
like, I'm not making sense, but you're making a whole lot of sense. Maybe because we're talking in our element today.
Maybe.
That's so funny that you're bringing up the stinger, because when I was in and out of sleep this morning, as I was waking up, I was actually thinking about how we have these stingers. I was thinking about just that. And I was like, thinking about, oh my God, I was imagining getting stung by a scorpion and how much that would hurt. Like that dependent, some Scorpios, it's like a lethal poison. Some Scorpios, it's like actually the most lethal poison in the whole world, some Scorpions, whereas other ones are not as
Yeah.
lethal.
Mhm.
And it's funny you're bringing that up, because I was thinking about, shit, that must really actually hurt when you get stung by a
I feel
scorpion.
like I can kind of feel it. I don't know if I've ever been stung by a scorpion like in a past life or something, but I feel like I can feel like the concentration, like, and it definitely, I feel like it like affects your nerves like first. I don't know. I can feel it. And then like all the poison goes in you and it like kind of spreads. I don't know why I can feel it, but I can feel it.
Yeah, that's weird. I can feel it too as you're talking about it. Is there anything you would add to this list of some of the general themes of water signs?
Well, all of these are very positive.
Right.
I mean, when I think of water signs, I also sometimes think of like controlling or manipulative.
Mm,
um I feel like some water signs, I feel like, are some of the signs other than Capricorn and maybe Aries, have difficulties with like lying or hiding information or withholding
mm,
information, because
right.
it comes from fear, I guess, fear of like really being vulnerable, of like revealing like who you truly are, and it's like scary and it's dark, and
Yeah.
not everybody can handle that. So I think water signs are also, for the most part, very careful with like who they let in too. So we are very like vulnerable, but we can, other than the Pisces, I mean the Cancer and the Scorpios have like the hard shells. I feel like
Mm,
Pisces is like the first one to like kind of like crumble and like, show their soft side.
yeah.
But yeah, I think water signs are very, very sensitive and very vulnerable. And I think
Mm,
we're carrying a lot. We're not just carrying our feelings and what we've experienced. We were also like carrying everybody else's stuff. And I know that's
mhm,
not our job, but it's just something that we naturally do. We're like transmuting other people's emotions. And
yeah.
that's how we learn. We go really deep, like within. And
Mhm.
so, Scorpios and Cancers and maybe sometimes Pisces, so we might act tough, but we're really soft on the inside, and we're
Yeah.
hurting a lot more than people think. We're carrying like pain at
Aw.
times. It's true though.
We're hurting a lot. Yeah, that is actually true. We're all water signs, even the Scorpios, really, really sensitive. And I feel like that's a good point that you're bringing up, that it can, I don't know if you just said the word destructive, or if I'm just hearing that intuitively right now. I feel like all water signs in the shadow side can be really destructive when we haven't put the proper boundaries up, or we've let too much of other people's stuff in, or we haven't properly processed our own
Mhm.
feelings and issues that are very deep. It can be very destructive to ourselves
Yeah.
and the people and situations around us, because it's the emotional realm.
Mhm.
It's nostalgia, it's memories, it's the feelings,
Mhm.
right? So if you're a water sign, you're feeling everything. Not that the other signs don't have feelings, but we feel the feelings like times 10 compared to the other signs. So if there's a good emotion, oh my God, that's bliss, that's amazing, that's orgasmic. And if there's not a good situation, it's can be destructive and scary even. So I
Yeah.
feel like boundaries and self-care
Mhm.
are really important for the water signs.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm around people for like more than a day, I like can feel depressed after a while. Like I get like very depleted, and I need to like go to bed, and I'll like cry, and it's just because like I've just been around so many people. I don't know.
Mhm.
I have like a very like small like social battery. I'm more, I feel like I'm definitely more introverted than extroverted, so that's just my personality. But yeah, water signs definitely, they need to have like their alone time, and sometimes it can take days or weeks, and depending on what you're going through in life, like even months to like recharge and before we can be like around people or be like really sharing and talking with people again. And it sounds crazy, but we're transmuting stuff. We're like, we feel things really deeply. It's intense.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's interesting if you think about the symbology of the water signs, the Cancers of the crabs that go into their little crab holes. The scorpions have their little desert holes and caves, and the fish have the water, the whole ocean. So they're all kind of, they have a need to hide, to retreat, to go under and within. And that's like our natural habitat, actually. Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense what you're saying.
Our scorpion den.
Our scorpion den. Mary says, small social battery explains it exactly, Sunny.
Listen, I got a small social battery and a real short fuse. You do not want to piss me off.
Oh my God. Yes. Scorpio with the Leo rising. Watch out. Spunky Diane says, my crystal order just arrived yesterday. So beautiful. Made my day. Yay. Thank you so much for ordering from the Scorpling shop. Okay, so let's start with our Cancies. Cancer. What crystals do you recommend for our Cancies out there?
This is so like Cancerian. It's very moon vibes, water vibes. So Chrysocolla. Oh, I thought I just froze for a second. Okay, that tripped me out. Okay. Chrysocolla is a copper silicate mineral. So it can be also found with azurite, malachite, or turquoise. And okay, this is really interesting because I like to read about like the ancient lore of crystals. So when I was reading about malachite, not malachite, chrysocolla, which is something I didn't actually know. It was used by people to get away with things or to negotiate. So people, if they wanted to negotiate or what's the word when you're like what's the word like when you go to like a pawn shop, not negotiate, but like
barter.
Yeah, like bartering, I guess. Bargaining. Barter. Okay. Yeah, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you're trying to get a deal, when you're trying to make a deal with somebody, people would wear it because it would like make you more they believed that it would make it hard for people to say no to you, which is like to me, I know Cancer pretty well because my dad's a Cancer. I've lived with a Cancer for a long time. I've gone out with a lot of Cancers. I have a 4th house stellium. I know a little bit about Cancers, okay? They are like the sneakiest people, and like you would not know. They're so charming. They can get anything that they want. They're very good like at bartering. They're very good at making deals. They're very good at negotiation. They're very good at being like leaders in that way. And like, I mean, it could teeter on manipulative if it gets like to a really dark place, but like they just know how to like work people. And I'm like, okay, when I read that, I was like, okay, that's crazy. That's like so Cancer.
That's so wild.
Isn't that weird? And that's like where the crystals, like they just know, I don't know, the energy just, you just channel it and like then you it just keeps getting revealed. Like the fact that like specifically chrysocolla, which were used for Cancer, which I know Cancers are very good at negotiating and manipulating and like charming people. This stone specifically was used for that. Like this is just the stuff that happens to me on a day-to-day when I'm like learning more about crystals. I'm like, okay, cool. Oh,
you felt that from you, or was that something that you read? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I didn't know that. I read about it, but the fact that we chose chrysocolla for Cancer and that's like one of ancient uses of it is like crazy to me.
Okay, that's so trippy. And you know what else that makes me think of is Cancer along with Taurus and Libra rule the divine feminine, right? But Cancer in particular is like what we would most associate with women, mothers, the divine feminine, just kind of overall. And women, like the shadow side of a woman is to manipulate. Like we have that power too, sexually with men. That's just kind of, hate to say it, you guys, but that's a fact of life. Like women can be manipulative by just being a woman, by just being in our sexual divine feminine. So that's interesting too.
Yeah, so watch out for Cancer men, you guys. No, I'm just kidding.
So true. That's crazy.
Okay,
Wow.
and also King Solomon of Israel owned copper mines, and in the mines in Africa and in Israel, there was a lot of chrysocolla, and so it was actually, it used to be called the Stone of Solomon back in the day. And
Wow.
then in like Greece and medieval times, they used chrysocolla to solder gold together, I guess, because when you, I don't know, heated it or fused gold together, the color of the chrysocolla would look like close to gold. And
Mhm.
Chris, I think, means glue, and cola means gold, so it's like gold glue or something, or the other way around. But yeah, so
Mhm.
anyways, that's just the ancient lore. Do you guys like that we talk about this, by the way? Uh, just
I
just
think
curious.
I think they do. Let us know in the comments. I think they do.
Okay. Anyway, so that's just like all the lore and the geological stuff. Do you want to talk about, have you had lots of experience with chrysocolla energetically, or
It's interesting because chrysocolla, I don't think I actually have any anymore. I had some and I guess I gave it away or sold it or something like
I
that.
think
But
you did have some. I remember that
I
you
did.
had that.
Yeah, and that's one that I definitely worked a lot with at the beginning of my crystal journey, and I actually haven't worked with it in years. Not that I don't feel an aversion, but just haven't been drawn to it as of late, but love the energy of chrysocolla. And I also feel like it's very, something about it is very mysterious and almost like makes me feel the mystery schools or occult knowledge as well that we would associate with the divine feminine. So
Maybe because
not
it has that malachite in it too. That could be
right.
part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, love it. And it totally makes sense that we would associate it with Cancer. And of course,
Mhm.
you can't have a Cancer kit without Moonstone. That's
Yes.
classic.
So, oh my God. So, if you guys remember, I mentioned a famous geologist from last time. His name is A.G. Werner. He named Moonstone. A.G. Werner was the guy who named Moonstone because it shimmers. And yeah, that's one of the classics is, yeah, Moonstone. And it's a aluminum, potassium, silicate feldspar. So, it's a type of feldspar. All feldspar shimmers.
Mm.
And in the kit, we have been giving gray moonstone with blue flash. Some of the moonstones have sunstone in them too. So some people got like a sunstone moonstone mix.
Ooh.
And also, we've been doing rainbow moonstone, which is still a feldspar, but it technically, rainbow moonstone's a little bit different. It's technically like a white labradorite, and some of them have black tourmaline in them. But yeah, moonstone is like definitely a classic, like very witchy. I feel like
Mm.
women are really attracted to moonstone. Like for women who are first getting into crystals and stuff or buying crystal jewelry, I think rainbow moonstone or moonstone in general is like one of the ones that like they go towards right away. It's like,
Mhm.
it makes sense. It's like high priestess. It's the
Mhm.
intuition. It's the, like, yeah, again, occult, kind of like what you were feeling with chrysocolla. Again, this is like very Cancer, high priestess kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Feminine. I also find it to be good with or for optimism, but sometimes I feel like for me, and it could be because I'm also already very watery, sometimes I feel like it kind of amplifies like what I'm already feeling. So if I'm feeling something, like it could be joy or it could be something sad, or if I'm feeling sad, I feel like it kind of like amplifies that. But which isn't really a bad thing. I mean, it could just show me like the truth of what I'm feeling. But sometimes I find it to be like it's like a little bit too much for me in that
I
way.
was I was literally just about to say that. That's
Oh,
so
really?
interesting because it's not like I'm wearing danbarite right now. That's one of the really like there's certain crystals for those of you guys who maybe not have heard of this before that we consider like really high vibrational. They're all high vibrational, but isn't there another term, Sunny? Am I having a brain fart? Like a term for if something's like a really holy crap, like a
Yeah.
moldavite or danbarite.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the word would be for that, but I know what you mean. Like I mean, all crystals have a high energy,
Yeah,
higher energy than us naturally, but that's the thing. We can attune to the crystal's energy. So being around the
yeah.
crystals actually elevates our energy. But then there's certain crystals that just have like their frequency is just higher. There are different frequencies. It's like different plants have
Like
like different
literally, yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Like literally the frequency, if we were to measure it, would actually be higher.
Higher, yeah.
Yeah. Moonstone, like it's not necessarily from my experience and research, one that people go, holy shit, you have a moonstone. Like that's so freaking crazy. It's so like high. It's crazy because you literally took the words out of my mouth. I can't wear moonstone for a long time. I've noticed that. I've had a moonstone ring. I've had a moonstone pendant. I've had moonstone. It's not one, I can't hold it for a long time. It really brings out like my third eye and my emotions very, very strong.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely associate it. I keep saying high priestess. I keep on picturing like the high priestess card. So I feel like maybe for us, it would be best used like very intentionally. Like, let's say we're doing like a ceremony or a ritual, or like if you like to do spells, or if we can call them prayers, whatever you want to call it. Or if you're doing like a new moon or a full moon ritual for yourself, or doing intentions, it might be really good to use for that because it amplifies. I feel like Moonstone is like a very good stone for manifesting and amplifying things. I don't know if we wrote that on there. Did we? I don't know if we did. Okay, well, new beginnings, I guess, is another way of saying like manifesting or new opportunities. But I feel like definitely very intentionally. Like some crystals I feel like I can just throw on and like they have their own thing going on. Like subconsciously I have an intention for them, but certain crystals definitely, like Moonstone might be something that you might want to actually ask it for to give it like a job and like what's the word? Program it, do a certain job. Yeah. And be like, okay, today, help me with seeing my relationship with like my coworker clearly. And that's it. Amplify the energy towards showing me the truth in that and showing me what I can do to move forward with that, for example. Instead of just like, because otherwise it's just gonna like go haywire and like just like everything. Because it's exactly magic.
Yeah, Sunny, it's exactly what you said earlier. It's almost like quartzy. It'll amplify whatever your intention is or whatever you're going through in the moment. So,
and it's the goddess. It's associated with the goddess, and goddesses are creators of life, and anything's possible with the goddess. It's like a free flowing thing. So, if you're going to be walking around with the moonstone, be prepared for everything to just like flow towards you. And sometimes that can be a lot. How am I going to deal with that?
For sure. Yeah. So I love this kid. Like you said, it's so Cancerian, these three together. And we've also got the selenite. Selenite's a really special one, you guys, because that's one of the ones that you don't actually need to cleanse. Many people say that. And also pay attention to what resonates with you. Like that's one of the things you hear in the crystal world. Selenite never needs to be cleansed. But genuinely, when you work with it, you can feel like it's always emitting that high frequency. And I've never personally felt like I had a selenite that really needed to be cleared or was holding on to something. It's almost like just shining a white light in its space.
It's shimmery as well, like the moon. It's funny because we call it selenite, but technically it's not actually supposed to be called selenite. So it's a form of gypsum. And like the proper name for this type of selenite is satin spar, but I don't really think a lot of people call it that. So we're just going to continue to call it selenite. But it's one of the most abundant stones. It's like in every mine, and there's different qualities of it. There's like museum quality selenite, and then there's like the common selenite that we have here, or the satin spar. And selenite is just one of those stones. Again, you can just like have it in every room. It's very chill. It's very peaceful. It makes me feel safe. Like I actually just put a big piece of selenite on my shelf last week, and it really did like change the vibe in my room. I wanted to like clear out energy from somebody who used to stay in my room with me once in a while, and I felt like certain energy lingering. And when I put it in my room, I really actually felt like it kind of cleared the air a little bit. It brought in like the higher angelic energy. And it's funny, I'm actually, again, I feel like it is that, especially because it's like higher. I don't know. I feel like my connection to God, or like I'm not religious or anything. I'm like spiritual, but I do really resonate with like Christian deities like Jesus and Mary and stuff like that. I feel like my connection with them has strengthened lately.
Wow.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with the selenite, but it's like, again, it's like purity, and
Mhm.
Mother Mary is
Exactly.
purity, Jesus is purity. It's like love of the
Mhm.
highest form. So yeah. I feel them in my room, and I feel like, yeah, it's like been inspiring me to like pray more.
Beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I could have selenite anywhere, in
Yeah.
any room, in any space. I just, as you said, it's a comfort. It brings in a very high vibe, very, very protective as well.
Yeah.
Great for meditation too. That's one of those ones that just effortlessly kind of brings you into a tranquility and a
Mhm.
relaxation, really good for stress and anxiety as well. And it's funny because the water signs, even though we do feel things so intensely, we kind of have that selenite influence where we calm or we bring healing to other people, even if we're not trying, even if we're not being intentional about it. It's kind of a similar
The
vibe that
water is cleansing. Oh, and this is another thing too. If you do have selenite and one that you can hold above you, one of my favorite things to do with selenite is like an aura cleanse. So because
way.
and you can do that with kyanite too, by the way. I feel like kyanite and selenite are similar in certain ways. But anyways, yeah, the selenite, so like you could just hold it or grab it, and you could just like, I call it like an aura bath. So we like bathe our physical bodies. We should also
Yeah,
be bathing our energetic bodies. So
energetic.
when you put the selenite over you, it cleanses, it brightens, it clears. I'm getting like goosebumps right now. Whoa. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do, especially when I used to do like crystal healing on people in person. That was like one of the first things I would do, was to do the selenite
Mm,
bath, do all the stuff, and then I would also end with the selenite as well.
mhm.
And also, yeah, too, if you're having bad dreams, or if you have any kids with bad dreams, or if any of your friends have been saying they've been having like nightmares or dealing with like darker entities in the dream time, selenite, definitely like put it all around in your room. Put it as close to you as possible. Put it in the corners, put it on your furniture, put it like at the end of your bed, or like at your head. Just have
Yeah,
selenite, because that will really help, like, bring the energy up and clear out the darkness, really.
for sure.
Hmm.
Loves it. I love to have a great big piece under my bed.
Hmm.
Okay, we move to our Scorplings, our fellow Scorplings
Oh
next.
my gosh.
I love what we've created for the Scorpios. This is cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's intense.
Yeah, yeah. Mahogany, obsidian, serpentine, and unakite all have
Yes.
a little bit of a similar vibe. I feel like there's a big similarity between all.
They're all pretty grounding, I would say,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah,
good for
which is
Scorpios.
good for us crazy Scorpios.
Well, Scorpios
Yeah.
are very like sexually energetic and like very creative. So then that all comes from, being in the body. So it's like integrating like the
Mm,
higher energy into the body. So I find this whole kit to be very like kundalini, like earthy, but also like experiencing what we can in the body, and like finding God through that, which is very
mhm.
Scorpio.
Yeah, for sure. And Scorpios can be grounded,
Yeah.
actually. We
Yeah.
are fixed water,
Hmm.
right? Which, if you think about, okay, what would fixed water be? That would be like a swamp, actually.
Water like
Which,
a
like, fixed water would be a swamp. It's water.
Yeah.
It's got lots of earth and there's
Yeah.
random shit in there and
Yeah.
trees and crocodiles and
What about
it's
ice? I feel like
ice.
it could be ice sometimes
Yeah,
too.
could be ice.
Yeah.
Could be ice for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even, I don't know if you would consider like a desert oasis. I guess that could also
I
be
was gonna
fixed
say too, like the water that you find in like the middle of a desert.
in the middle of the desert.
Hallelujah, thank Jesus, there's water in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, like intense ways that we would have water, a swamp, ice,
Maybe that's
as you
why
said.
I like Shrek so much. I'm just kidding. The swamp.
Maybe.
This
Yeah,
is
but
not
I'm kind of getting that visual, like with the kits that with the crystals that we put in this kit. It's making me
yeah,
think about, yeah, it's
the swamp.
fixed water. And the fixed signs, for those of you who don't know, it's the signs that are at the height of a season. right?
Yeah.
So Scorpio is the height of the autumn in the northern hemisphere. Fixed signs, they know who they are. They know who they are, and they can be stubborn, right? But they're very strong in their powers. So
Well, stubborn
Maha-
is grounded too. Exactly.
exactly.
I think
Yeah.
I'm pretty grounded. I have like a really good sense of direction.
That's
Anyways.
cool.
Yeah.
I've become way more grounded, I think, after my Saturn return.
Okay, interesting.
I was not very grounded before that for whatever reason, but yeah, that's getting into my personal chart. But anyways,
You have
yeah,
more earth though, which is funny.
which is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got interceptions. That's getting into a whole thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so mahogany obsidian, that's one I don't think I've ever had. Actually, no, I have had a piece of mahogany obsidian, but just a tumbled piece, and I never really worked with it that much. But have you worked with it very much, Sunny?
A little bit. I had an arrowhead. So mahogany obsidian is just like black obsidian. It just has like the inclusions of hematite in it. And
Yeah.
it's technically not a crystal, it's a volcanic glass. But the
Mm,
cool thing about obsidian, which most people probably know or have seen, is that it's been used by ancient people, ancient tribes, mostly like Mexico and the Americas and like South America, probably, for in weaponry and tools.
right.
So yeah, they were used mostly for ways of protection or like knives, cutting things, yeah, tools. So it shows you that it's very protective, but they were also turned into mirrors as well. So
Mm,
before there was actual like glass mirrors and stuff, I think it was maybe even cheaper as well to make mirrors out of obsidian.
yeah.
And I think that the energy of the black obsidian and the mahogany obsidian are similar, but with the hematite, it does give it like that extra earthy, um, grounded, not as like whoa. Like I feel like sometimes obsidian, again, obsidian, like it gets cut into a mirror.
Hmm.
It shows you like very like clearly the truth.
Yeah.
So I feel like because the mahogany obsidian is hematite, and hematite's like also associated with blood.
Hmm.
I don't think they cut mahogany obsidian to mirrors. I feel like that would be hard to like look into. Um, I feel like it's more reveals like your inner truth, if that makes sense. So it's not like really about like what's going on outside of you or around you. I feel like it's more like what's going on inside of you. So and that's
Mm.
why like we use the word purification as well, because it can show you like all of these Scorpio stones are very like purifying because it goes deep within like that inner world where the Scorpio like hides in the shadows and the creepy crevices that nobody wants to go into. It's like very revealing on like what's going on with you and how can I purge and get out like the toxic or like the toxins or the poisons to like find my peace or to find my truth or to like become like be born again basically, or I don't know, to rise again, to transform.
Mm.
These Scorpio stones are pretty intense, but they're very therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. And I love what you just said there. Like they bring you within. All of these, from my experience, mahogany, obsidian, I haven't worked with that much, but unakite and serpentine, I've definitely worked with more. They bring you into your own energy. And it's like, what does George Harrison say? You know, within you, without going out of my
Oh
door,
yeah, I can
I can know
know.
all things on earth, with it, which is shamanic. The
Yes,
journey of going within to then go without and know all things. That's very scorpionic.
it
That's
is.
very much the medicine of Scorpio. And I think all these three crystals do that. It's not about having to go on a journey and have this crazy freaking experience and take the ayahuasca. It's like going within and feeling what's already there, or the truths that maybe we're scared to face when we're grounded in the
Yeah.
body, in the mind, in the spirit.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that experience to other people who, because I don't know what other people are experiencing, but just I'm constantly noticing little truths that kind of blow up my whole like psyche, my inner world. Like constantly I'm seeing reflections in everything and everybody,
Mhm.
how they react to me or what I feel from, I don't even know how to explain this, but it's just like a constant like search. It's like a constant, things hit really deep, and yeah, everything, it just like takes you back inside, and it's like, okay, this is something that I need to fix inside me. This is something that I need to clean. This is why I feel like this. This is why this happened to me. This is why I'm acting like this. Like, it's constantly like cleansing and purging. It's like a never ending thing. It's like
Never ending.
constantly being shown like the truth of my existence, the truth of my soul, and also it shows me like what's going on with other people too. Or like sometimes I feel like Scorpios are, it's funny because the mahogany, like, I mean, sorry, the obsidian and like the mirror again, it's like Scorpios are like total mirrors.
Yeah.
People look at you and you see their projections, and everything that's dark within them, they project onto you because you are constantly transmuting the darkness, and those are the places that you go. And I feel like Scorpios are like always the scapegoat because we're not afraid to talk about the truth. We're not afraid to be honest, and we're not afraid to like just be authentic and show up. And that's, we're not really like taught that when you're learning how to socialize when you're a kid and stuff. Like, it's not polite to like say certain things, you know, you want to keep things inside, but we can't do that. Like, we need to be authentic. It's really hard to like fake being nice or something. And it's not about not liking people or wanting to be rude to people. It's just about being real. And most people are uncomfortable with that because they're not doing that constant like self-reflection. Like, it's not even something that I'm trying to do. It's just that's just how my mind works.
I totally get what you're saying, Sunny.
Puzzle pieces together like constantly. It doesn't stop.
Yeah. And I don't know if people that aren't Scorpios or have that can maybe get that, but I totally get what you're saying there. And I feel like with Scorpios, it gets to a certain point where we will be triggering and we will say the truth. Like, there's only so much that we can possibly take. And then, like you said, we're very careful with the poison. We're very careful with our stingers because we're noticing everything, even if people aren't saying something. But at some point, the shamanic truth, the deep transformation will come out. And even if it's not necessarily through words, that can also just come through in our energy, right? We can give that off like just psychically in our energy. So we can be kind of creepy sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a very supportive set of crystals and crystal kit we made, not just for the Scorpios and our own energy and being empowered as the kind of shadow shamans that we are. But if you're someone going through a very big life transformation, or you're very blocked in some certain way, and you know you're blocked, these are some really good crystals to work with for sure.
Or if you have PTSD of any kind.
Oh yeah.
Trauma. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. Yeah, totally. Any kind of healing. But Scorpio is the real deal, piercing healing. Why do we act out that way? Why did I really attract that person? Why am I really addicted to that thing? Right? Scorpio will pierce to the deep truth, which is sometimes uncomfortable.
Yeah, so it's funny because I was thinking about this too when I was like writing notes down and stuff. I was thinking about how, again, going back to, there's crystals that are like really high vibrational and like, whoa. And it's funny because these crystals, like the keywords are very intense, but the energy isn't like super high vibrational. They're like way more like what we can understand, as in they're way more like earthy and like grounding and internal. So it's funny because we all want to feel like, woo, like we think being connected to like divinity is like going high and stuff like that. But it's like, really, you know, we're in these bodies, we're experiencing deep traumatic things. We have our ancestral line, we have our DNA, we have past lives as well too. We have our own psychology, we have our own childhood, we have all these memories, we have everything like locked within our bodies. And it's like, this is like the kit that like purges and cleanses and nurtures and like really, helps with those issues, like those deep human. It's like very human. Like, what are you? What have you experienced on Earth? What It's like, it's all about like pain, because like that's something that you can't really escape from. we're on Earth. If you're on Earth, you're going to experience pain, right?
Yep.
So this kind of helps get you through that, and it's not like super like woo, it's like very like internal, and that's the scary stuff. Is people don't want to actually, people want to, is what I'm trying to say, is people want to like go outside or go higher or go straight to the source, but it's like, but okay, you don't have to carry all the pain on your own, and that's the beauty of God, and that's the beauty of prayer, is that it's actually, I think, maybe like impossible for us to actually carry it all on our own. And that might be like that's like a deep lesson, I think, for water signs, is because we're feeling everybody's stuff. I think it just becomes like a habit or like a pattern that we just take on all this stuff, and then that we think that we just have to carry it all, but we don't. And that's why water signs are so spiritual, is because we can, again, transmute it or give some of it or ask God to take some of it and help us, because I mean, you like, it's impossible for you to do all of this on your own. Like, I don't know where I'm going with that, but help me out.
Yeah, it's support in the intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Anything we want to add to serpentine or unakite? Or
I mean, I feel like we kind of merged them all together, which is funny because like Scorpio is about merging. But I would just say, if this is scaring you, what I wanted to say is like, don't let like the keywords or like the energy of this scare you away, because it's not overwhelming. It's not going to be overwhelming. You might feel like, you know, you might like have memories, or you might feel things like, and it's going to take you through the inner worlds, and of course, but it's never going to feel like you can't handle it. Just allow like God to also like walk by your side when you're going through this. It's going to actually feel really supportive, and it's going to take like a pressure off of your heart, especially with the unakite. I feel like the unakite really will help you like take a pressure off of your heart, and like help you actually just feel supported and feel loved and feel like it's okay. I think also this is a really great kit for like shame as well, if you're holding like shame inside of your body. So it helps with intense things, but it's not like whoa, like overwhelming, I guess.
Yeah, it supports in the most intense issues. Exactly what you just said earlier. PTSD, trauma, shame, grief, all that Scorpio stuff. Okay, so next we move on to Pisces, which is Pisces, the third water sign, the last sign in the zodiac, which is literally, Pisces is interesting because it's that which is not physical, right? So Pisces is the most challenging sign to actually be, because we're souls, Pisces, having this human experience, right? Earth. And it's the ethereal realm. It's that which is not physical. It's the screens, it's creativity, it's spirituality, it's what's behind the scenes, it's illusions, dreams. So crystals, something physical from the earth, I think are very supportive for Pisces in particular. I mean, they're good for all the signs, but Pisces, magical objects, I think it's really good. And lots of Pisces are just naturally drawn towards the crystals, even though they don't know what they're all about. Right?
It's funny too, because Pisces, like when you're talking about like the fish in the water before, like there's just like so many different things going on in the ocean. And Pisces usually have issues with like addiction, or like just like wanting to feel like all these things and not being grounded. They like, Pisces do have a hard time being in their body and being grounded. And it's funny because these stones, well, it depends. We'll talk about it, but it's like, actually these crystals are, even though amethyst is like very like spiritually opening and stuff, and like that's really resonates with the Pisces, it's better than taking drugs. It's better than drinking alcohol. It's better than using like whatever substance or, you know, distraction that you need to feel like you need to cope as a Pisces. And it's funny because amethyst is was called amethyst because of the Greek word amethystos, which literally it translates to not intoxicated, which is like, it's hilarious because amethyst really is like uh an alternative to a psychedelic drug, really. And I know
Mm,
it sounds crazy, but it really takes you into the spiritual, like into different realms, and it helps you teach you about yourself and teach you about how you think and how your thoughts can create worlds, or how, what is even the world, or what is even energy, like literally all of these like spiritual theories and esoteric theories and etheric possibilities. Like amethyst really takes you into those realms and makes you
mm.
think in that way. Like it just basically opens your third eye, really. And it's a great alternative to doing drugs if that's an issue for you.
Yeah. It's funny that amethyst is almost like the gateway drug of
It
the
is. It's
crystal
like the gateway crystal, yeah.
because there's so much of it, quite a bit of it you can find all over the world, which
Exactly.
shows, right? Which shows, okay, if there's this huge freaking abundance of amethyst, right, then it's good for a lot of us to be working with, and it's a beautiful color and it's very pretty and it draws you in, right?
I literally wrote that down. I literally wrote, it comes from all over the world in
Yeah.
different forms and different shades. And new localities are like discovered every year. Like literally new amethyst mines are discovered all over the world every year. There's like a new amethyst mine. So
Yeah.
just it goes to show you how important it actually is to be on a never-ending journey of
Mm.
self-discovery and spirituality, because there's so many possibilities and there's so many unknowns and there's so many mysteries. So it's really interesting that you just said that, because it literally shows you like why it's so abundant and why it's so popular. It's a type of quartz, and it's even more popular, I think, than clear quartz.
Wow, that's
I think
nuts.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's so cool too because amethyst is really good for dreams. Pisces rules dreams. And we're speaking right now in the waking world, but almost half of our lives, or not half, maybe like a third, is
Yeah,
in the dream world,
exactly.
right? So amethyst is very supportive to that. I always sleep with an amethyst near me. I always have that.
Yeah. Sometimes, actually, I have one with me now. Oh, actually, I have two. I have a spirit quartz and one of those dark ones from Australia. See that the Australian amethyst was just discovered recently too.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah. Also, I wanted to say too that as a young crystal healer, when I was a teenager, amethyst actually taught me, working with amethyst daily, wearing it for like a year every day and sleeping with it, actually taught me how crystals work. So if it
Mm,
wasn't for amethyst, like I don't know if I would fully understand how crystal healing and the energy of the crystals, like how it all even works. It like awoke all these memories, because I've definitely worked with crystals in the past. I feel very connected to Atlantis, and if it was called Atlantis, whatever. But
mhm.
definitely was been working with crystals for thousands of years prior to this. So it like kind of like it was a spiritual awakening. Amethyst is like a spiritual awakening stone.
Mm,
It's
I
the
love
gateway. It's the gateway.
gateway for the Pisces. Yeah,
Yes.
John in the chat says my oldest brother, a Piscean, did have addiction to psychedelics when he was younger. Yep. Most Pisces have major addictions.
Some type of an addiction, or
Sure.
something with their body, or like some type of like a physical disability, or like eating disorder too. And people don't really think about that. When you think about disorders or addictions and stuff, it's also like, food or any type of substance.
Mhm.
It could also be TV, it could be
Dreams.
anything that distracts you or takes you out of your body, basically,
Mhm.
because they're so uncomfortable in their body.
Yep, for sure. And something that can really actually these I think they can all help with your body, but lepidolite and Septarian can definitely help with your body. I've Lepidolite has literally saved my life sometimes from having anxiety on and off, very intense panic attacks on and off throughout my life.
Yeah.
And lepidolite is literally an antidepressant because doesn't it have lithium in it, Sunny?
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you guys. I don't know if everybody knows this, but again, an alternative to taking drugs Lepidolite is the most lithium rich mineral on the planet. And it's a type of mica, but the purple color comes from lithium because lithium's like a pinky purple color. And yeah, it literally will, like, instead of taking lithium, if that's not what you're into, you can have lepidolite all over you and all around you, and it will literally help you with your depression and with your anxiety and with any type of mood disorder, really. So
literally actually helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Awesome. It's just funny when people like think about, a lot of people who think about crystals, they think they're silly or they think they're stupid, but it's like they're literally made out of minerals, and every mineral has like a healing ability. And we take minerals or vitamins to live. And it's like, just because you're not like ingesting it doesn't mean like the mineral is not having an effect on you. It's like the energy still, works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And lepidolite, it's also really beautiful and sparkly and shiny and magical looking, like Pisces as well.
Yeah.
Got that special kind of like very ethereal, blissful look to it.
Yeah, it's a mica. There's probably a lot of actually I don't know. There's probably eyeshadow that's made out of lepidolite mica. I think lepidolite is like the most popular mica. It's just purple mica. But yeah. I really like the raw forms of lepidolite, and sometimes lepidolite can actually be like really high quality, and like they can be like see-through and stuff, and like, yeah, I like them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have Septarian.
So this is where we get a little bit even more grounded. So it's like, yeah, the amethyst, it's still grounding in a way, but it's very more like up here, and then the little lepidolite takes you into your body. And then the Septarian is like very grounding. And the crazy thing about Septarian is it's actually like it's a fossil. So it's not just a crystal, it's a fossil. And the funny thing is it's very Piscean because it's actually like, so it's like 50 to 70 million year old mud basically, but it was created by like the chemical compositions of dead sea creatures that went into the rock. And then after millions of years, waters recede, and then you find like these nodules. They grow in like these nodules, like in these balls, and then when you cut them open, it's limestone, calcite, and aragonite, and they're found only in Utah. So at one point, yeah, the fish were swimming around in the oceans, they died, and then they went into the ground and became Septarian. Isn't that crazy?
That's so crazy.
So it's very Piscean for sure. Like ancient Pisces.
For sure. I love the colors. It very unique and cool.
Yeah.
The look of it. When you see it in person, you're like, whoa, what the heck? That looks really different.
Yeah. So I really like this for Pisces too, because I wrote the word invisibility on there, and people might be like, what the fuck does that even mean? It literally, like, I feel like every time I've worked with Septarian, it's like, it's when you're going like really deep, and that can be very, very vulnerable. And again, Pisces, when we're talking about like the archetype of the fish, it doesn't have a defense really. It's just like a soft, it has like maybe gills or whatever, but it can't really defend itself. If something wants to eat it, it's going to eat it. So when you're going like really deep into these meditative states, or when you're wanting to work on, like the karmic healing, the family lineage, the finding, like building your own strength from like within you, that can be very vulnerable. And Septarian, I feel from my experience, I don't know if anybody else has felt this, or I honestly don't know if any other crystal healers have wrote about this, but it puts like an invisibility cloak around you. It protects you from other people seeing you and from other people finding you in that state. And it's funny because sometimes it's like, I think it's good to put Septarian in your car a little bit in case, you could, to protect yourself from being hit, or, maybe like speeding tickets or something like that. If you just like want to be in your own realm and you don't want anybody to bother you, and you want to go outside. Again, that's another thing. I find lots of Pisces have like social anxiety, or have anxiety being around crowds, or just being around a lot of different people. I feel like Septarian will like ground you, but also create those boundaries where like people aren't even gonna like be attracted to you, or like even perceive you. Really, it like kind of puts you in your own little realm and world.
Yeah.
which makes it easier to go out into the world.
Yeah. Why do I also,
But
am I confusing another stone with dragons? Do we associate Septarian with dragons or?
sometimes they call it dragonstone and they carve them into like eggs and they call it like the dragonstone because it looks like, because it has like the weird like patterns. It looks like crackly, like a dragon egg kind of.
Yeah. I love it. I love the Pisces kit.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for your positive comments. Spunky Diane says, I feel like I need to gift my Pisces and Scorpio family members with these kits and prescriptions.
Thank you.
Yes, they're available at the scorplingshop.com. Hello Kitty says, I live for this shit. Yes, we do too. Anything you want to add, Sunny, or?
I just think it's cool that Septarian is crystallized mud that was made from dead sea animals. Like, that's just trippy.
Wow.
I don't know what else I want to add. I think each kit is makes a lot of sense for each of the signs.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, we've got someone from, thank you for this, lassies. Very informative and interesting. Cool. There's someone from my family's neck of the woods up in the chat. Yeah. What else did I want to bring in here? Lady Venus Astrology says, been loving seeing the crystals for the 4 elements. I can't wait to see what the next crystal topic will be. What is our next crystal topic going to be? Do we have one?
I don't know.
We do have some, but did we decide on one?
Is it going to be in alignment with what we're doing for July, or?
I think so, but that's not.
We could talk about the blue ones too for the next when we come back.
Ooh, yeah.
Talk about that.
Okay, it'll be a surprise, you guys. It'll stay tuned. We've got some very cool stuff coming up. Carol says, all water can feel deep. Meg, you're right. Unless we reset strong boundaries, we just merged into someone else's field. Water signs lose self if they're not in observation and awareness. Totally, Carol. Very wise.
And sometimes like the emotions it's too much. And yeah, sometimes we need to learn to be practical. So it is good to ground yourself as a water sign for sure. Because if you're just reacting and you're not like being smart or like forward thinking in the moment, like you can get yourself into some pretty sticky situations or make a situation worse by just reacting instead of using the mind or merging the emotions with the mind to create the wise mind.
To create the mind, exactly.
Yeah.
Yorni says, is there a kit for abundance?
Not yet.
Well, I think the Taurus one could be for
that's true. That's true. Like specifically, we haven't made a stone specifically for abundance, but yeah, I mean, the Sagittarius one's good for abundance.
Yeah.
Taurus, Leo.
Taurus.
We have abundance stones on the website, like citrine and pyrite.
Mm-hmm. Brigitte, there's a very nice pyrite on the website that nobody's gotten yet. Brigitte says, my sun is a Scorpio sun, Pisces moon, and Libra rising. Roller coaster. Yeah. Good luck with that, Brigitte. We're sending lots of your way.
Well, wait, actually, I don't know. Would it be better to be a Scorpio sun, a Pisces sun and a Scorpio moon, or a Pisces sun and a Scorpio? Wait, what did I just say?
Yeah, what would be better, Scorpio sun or Scorpio moon with a Pisces sun, Scorpio Pisces?
I think maybe that combo is better than the Scorpio moon. I don't know.
I feel like that combo is better because at least he's a Scorpio. Okay, Scorpios, we can be. He's a Scorpio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like Brigitte, it's gonna be okay. We're sending lots.
Level water is intense. I couldn't imagine being like triple water. Like in the big 3. I mean, I have mostly water, but I mean, my big 3, at least I have a little bit of a something different.
Yeah. Element 1959 says, is it okay to have a plate with lots of different crystals on it, or would they conflict with each other?
Well,
I would
go ahead.
Yeah. I would say feel it out, Element. Ask the crystals, feel it out. Some do conflict with each other, but I feel like you would feel that just from your own, what would you say, Sunny?
Well, if they're just sitting there and like they're not like intentionally being used for something, if you like go and pick them out or whatever, if they're just sitting, like if it's like in a catch-all type thing, I don't think it's like that big of a deal. But if you're trying to like, if you're actually using that plate intentionally for something, yeah, like some crystals might not be working or might counteract with other crystals. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's weird. It just depends because it's also your energy as well. Like some people say, oh, don't use citrine if you want to also use like, let's say lepidolite or something. But it's like, okay, but the lepidolite's going to help me with my anxiety towards like coming off as confident. So like, why can't I use the lepidolite and the citrine together? It's going to just, right. I mean, it just depends on you. It depends on your energy. It depends on what you're working on. I mean, it's so, I like the rules and stuff. It's just, it's really hard to have like concrete answer for the rules because it's all energy and energy is always changing and your energy is different from mine and your life purpose and your journey is different from mine. So it's like, I can tell you experiences, but I can't give you like 100% concrete like answers for anything really because it's always changing.
Right.
But if you're just having crystals in a bowl, like I think it's fine, or a plate, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, well, wow, we're at 11111 again. So freaky. Okay, something in the past week, all the shows have been ending at 11111.
Really?
So nuts. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Also, we want to mention Floraline Farm has their new Summer Light Alchemy bundle available of soaps. You can go check that out at floralinefarm.ca. And my Beginner's Guide to Astrocartography workshop is 50% off at the moment on the Academy, Beyond Mystic Academy. And right after this, well, soon after this at 8 p.m. Eastern, JC and Janine will be live for Beyond the News on the Mystic Insider Access Pass. Sunny, thank you for another magical show. And we're going to be on vacation, the Beyond Mystic team, for the first 2 weeks of July. So you can check us out. We'll be on our social medias on a little journey to Alberta if you guys want to stay tuned with us. And we'll be back for Beyond Crystals. Is it the third week of July? That feels like really far away.
That does feel really far away. What day is
that? I don't even know. It's a surprise topic.
Yeah.
So stay tuned, you guys.
Okay, cool.
And thank you all so much for everyone that's been getting the astrological crystal kits. Sunny has been working very, very hard, shipping them out, sourcing everything. Sunny's been working her freaking tail off. So thank you, Sunny, for all the very hard work you've been doing with all that back end stuff. Yeah. Everybody's very happy. Everybody, lots of positive comments so far.
Yay.
So yeah, we'll see you guys soon for another episode of Beyond Crystals.
Happy new moon in Cancer. Bye.
New moon. Bye.